I mean, criticism is something that I think has to come from a place of love, right? I think it has to.
Oh, it definitely has to. Yeah.
You know?
No, you're definitely
And
right.
I have to I have to really be careful about where I'm sending my criticism and why am I sending my criticism, because I can get on that emotional train just like you were saying, right? I mean, criticism runs both ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we talked a little bit about that in the episode on judgment, right? Like it's a two-way lens, you know, and I have to be really careful about thinking I know what's best for the next person,
Right.
you know, because I may not, you know. So when I give criticism on anything, I better be thinking it through, you know. And when somebody gives me criticism, I need to be thinking that that's probably coming from a place that I can't see.
Right.
Right? They're seeing something that I'm not. And if I can get over here where they're at, then maybe I can see that too, and then I can get the growth that they see the potential in me to have. Okay, I don't know if that answers
No, it's very
No,
well
your
said.
question
yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
that was, yeah. I just thought of this story real quick, and I got to share it because I remember when the sponsor I had before you, I was right after my last time in treatment, and I remember me and my ex-wife we'd been separated for a minute, and we were moving back in together, trying to start, you know.
So smart.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember him yelling at me in one of our meetings, like, it's too fucking soon, Nate. It's too soon. He's from New York, real loud, you know. And I'm like, no, who the fuck are you, you know? Tell me, like, we've been together forever, you know? And now look at where I'm at. You know, like, had I listened, you know, like, you know, we really, yeah, you know, and I, you know, and here comes the question, like, you know, giving criticism, like, we really need to be careful at how we give criticism.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
You know, like, it obviously needs to come from a place of love, so therefore it needs to be tactfully given. But like, when do we know when the right time to do it is? Like, I'm always, you know, like, I'll talk to people, and there's always something that I want to say to them, you know, but I'm always scared of offending them.
Well, I
you
usually
know?
will. I think it's important to ask. Do you,
Yeah,
like,
okay.
do you? I mean, and I've said that to, you know, a lot of people in my life.
Yeah,
It's
you
like,
have. I've heard
Are
you say
you?
it.
Are you? Do you want some feedback? Do you want, you know, some criticism?
Yeah, can I give you a
Oh,
little?
I like that.
You know, like.
So, communication.
Well, right, yeah, because like if they don't want to hear it, then I don't want to give it to them because they will just get offended, right?
Right.
Human nature.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, like, if they say yes, I always try and I think it's important that I tell them things that were good, things that are actually good about what's happening, and then, you know, and then say, but you know, if it were me, I'd maybe do this, or, you know, but I think they call it a sandwich, a compliment sandwich, right? So you give the criticism in a way it's accompanied with some compliments, or accompanied with some, you know, things that are doing well.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
It just seems like when I was in school that we just talked about that. I had some sort of class where we talked about compliment sandwich.
Compliment sandwich. I like
Sounds
that.
delicious.
I'm going to remember that. I am
Yeah.
going to remember that. I like that.
Right. I mean, you know, take it for what it is. But I think you're absolutely right. Like, feedback, it needs to be given, like, just as much as we need to consider the source when we're getting feedback, we need to consider the recipient when we're giving it.
Yes.
It's like, I know that I can probably, like, I should maybe choose the way I give you, Nate, criticism a little bit differently than I might give it to Willy or Jordan or anybody like that. Like, you know, I know enough about you as an individual to know how it's received oftentimes and when is the best time to give it to you.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Sometimes timing is everything.
Yeah.
Yes. You're right about
Yeah.
that. You're right about that.
And
Like,
sometimes people I don't know very well, I definitely am not going to give them criticism.
Right.
Like, I might give you criticism without asking. Without you asking. Because
Yeah.
you've made it known that you're open to that.
Right.
Right.
And
Right.
it's
right,
fun.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And it's fun.
And because
it's fun.
we have so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. You do.
But
You do.
like anybody else that I don't know very well, like,
Uh-huh.
you know, I'm definitely going to ask before I just launch into any sort of
Yeah.
criticism.
Yeah, and I learned mine from a great guy. We had his wife on the show, Chris, the therapist. Her husband pretty much built me up in the industry that I'm in, and this dude is like, I've seen him have tactful conversations with people that that I don't even feel like I could approach, right? And so, that was one of the things that I would watch him do. And it's not something that he sat me down and taught me, but it was something that I was able to watch happen
Right.
in real time, right? And so one of the things that, and that's really all we can talk off of, right, is our own experience, right? And so, like, I've had some experience with having some conversations with people in the construction industry, right? Being a contractor and having my own company and having employees and things like that. I still use a lot of the stuff that he taught me, and it's like what you were saying is like, it looks good.
Right.
You've outdone yourself. I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job. I think you got a plan, but if it was me,
Right.
or I'll like this one guy that I have right now, he's so awesome, man. I love working with this guy. I'll go, hey, I probably wouldn't do that. Ask me how I know. Yeah, because
You've
again,
learned, yeah.
Well, I've learned, right? We're in the same trench, right? Like I agree with what you're saying. I don't think I need to give criticism from a construction standpoint to a law office, right? Like those are two different things, right? Like, I don't know, but I do know a little bit about how people feel based off of tactful conversations, right? And I think that's the first thing that needs to open up. We have to allow them to let their guard down. I think so often people are already on edge, right? Because life is stressful.
Sure.
Like life can be stressful, and if you haven't
yeah.
if you haven't done some groundwork in being prepared for normal life stresses, like, you go into a grocery store and you lose your fucking mind just because you had other plans and the line is longer. That these regular stressors, and so we go into a business or like a professional setting where criticism is key or needed or appropriate, right? And we don't like automatically from the start like defuse the situation, like bring the stress level down right out of the get. Then criticism can oftentimes like lead to really bad situations.
Oh yeah.
Even when it's coming from a place of love, even when it's coming from the right place, because we didn't take the time to set the conversation up to be successful. And so as like the leader of the criticism, that's one of the things I think we need to do. Nate and I had a conversation this morning about just that, right? Like he's got these things going on with his clothing line, and he needs to have these hard conversations. And one of the things that I learned through studying Jocko Willing's book, Extreme Ownership, was like, first we take ownership, right? Before we give any criticism at all, we take ownership of ourselves first. Like, okay, here's me. How can I make you better? Are you open to this? Right? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Like, then here's the problem. How do I help you solve that problem? And then how do I help so that this problem can be solved? What do you need from me? Right? And then we offer our opinion or criticism about it. Well, okay, so we have the goal, we have the problem, we have my part, we have your part. Now, can I tell you a little bit about what I think you should do with your part? And if you're okay with that, then let's move forward with that. And then it makes the thing a little bit better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Oh, good.
It does. I have no criticism to give about what you
had
just
a
said.
lot of things rolling around in my head.
No, it was really good.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, no, and going back to that conversation I had to have today with that individual, I took complete ownership of.
Oh, did you have that talk?
Yeah, I did, and it actually went a lot better than going in and accusing them of not doing their job. I went in and said, "Hey, I understand that we have had some setbacks. I have a lot to own up to that, You know, I've you know, had some issues in my life and that, and you know, we talked it out, and it actually ended really well.
Mm-hmm.
We reset our deadline, and like we were both like, I felt like he was actually motivated,
Both energized.
yeah, both energized and motivated to actually make our deadline happen.
Nice.
Instead of that motherfucker, what did he just say to
Right.
me?
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
And-
it was good to hear
yeah.
like a live example of the process that you use, of, you know, sort of giving out and you know, like setting somebody up to receive criticism,
Yeah.
or at least
Yeah.
laying down a foundation to know whether or not it's something that can
Yeah.
be, you know, given
That
in
has
that
worked.
particular instance. Yeah,
It's worked in the
exactly.
past. Like
Right.
it's probably not going to work every time, right?
Yeah,
but we have
yeah.
to be ready for that. And then receiving criticism, right? Again,
That's-
consider your source, right?
Yeah.
Like who's giving it to you and why?
Yeah.
You know, because Cameron gives me criticism on my fucking Instagram all the time because I suck at it. Like period.
you fat finger a lot of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Right?